Hello, my name is Anand Kothari. I am the Principal Product Manager within the Oracle Cloud Group, the Oracle Public Cloud Group, and I specifically manage Oracle Java Cloud Service. Today in this session, we are going to, I'll give you an introduction to the general OPC, the Oracle Public Cloud strategy, as well as get deep into Java Cloud Service. I'll give an introduction to the Java Cloud Service, and we'll do a few hands-on demos to show you how you get started with Java Cloud Service and what can you do with the Java Cloud Service. And at the end, I'll leave with some new services that are coming along in the Oracle Public Cloud that are very tightly integrated with Java Cloud Service, and I'll show you the value of using all of them together. So let's get started with Oracle Java Cloud Service. That's the safe harbor statement. As you might have seen multiple times, our Oracle Public Cloud strategy, it spans all the three layers. There's infrastructure services that though are used internally, they are not exposed to the customers. On top of those infrastructure services, we have platform services. That's where the Java Cloud Service fit in, and the Database Cloud Service and various other services that I'm going to talk about today. Along with the platform services, we have a whole range of application services, the typical CRM, HCM applications, all on the cloud as a software as a service in a subscription model. Platform as a service is also a subscription model to get your platform. And there is a social fabric that connects the application as well as the platform and gives you the ability to have enterprise social into these applications, and that's where our social services are. Today I'm going to focus on platform services, and within that specifically the Java Cloud Service. Here is the range of all the services that we plan to have in Oracle Public Cloud. Many of these services are available today. Some are in preview and the others are coming. I'll talk about briefly about each of them. Database Cloud Service, it's a database application environment in the cloud for rapid database application development, as well as it allows you to use that database along with Java Cloud Service for Java applications that are data centric. Java Cloud Service is what we'll talk about. It is where you deploy your Java applications, and I'll go into a lot of details about what Java Cloud Service is. Developer Service, Messaging, and Storage Service are in preview today. They kind of complement Java Cloud Service in providing a complete development environment for Java developers, and we'll talk about that at the very end of this course. Mobile services for mobile development, we plan to have identity or security services for identity management. Notification service, today it's available to notify you as the users of or administrators of these various cloud services, but eventually you will be able to use notification service from within your application to send notifications to various channels, emails, push notifications to phones, SMS, etc. Caching service is an in-memory cache that complements the Java Cloud Service to provide you distributed caching environment if your application needs that. Collaborative and analytics service, as its name says, these are ones you would use one for collaboration with developers and users of your application, and analytics for reporting. At the end, we also are planning to come up with an application store for you to submit your applications for your customers to look it up, browse them. If they find the application, they can directly buy from the application store and deploy in their environment. So that's the marketplace that we build for applications that can go on to any of these services that we have in OPC. The public cloud strategy is very simple. We set out objectives that benefit customers. One, we wanted to build everything based on standards, so nothing proprietary, nothing new to learn, same skill sets. We wanted to make it truly like a cloud in the sense there is no real development, coding, or work needed. It's very transparently runs in the cloud. There is hardly any development needed. You can just make configuration changes and you have a complete environment for yourself. And at the end, the entire control you can hand it down to your users or your developers or your business analysts to be able to provision, use, and test and everything on their own complete self-service environment. And what we really value or in doing with our public cloud is security. This is the cloud architecture was built ground up for security, give you proper isolation both at the database level, your data layer, as well as your apps layer. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. There is global reach. We will be having these services available in a lot of environments, a lot of regions. Here is a sample of the data centers for public cloud that are in works. We already have three data centers where these platform services are available, and a lot of these others are coming within a very short period of time. Java Cloud Service. The key theme about Java Cloud Services is ease of use. You should be able to get a complete environment for your developers in minutes, and that's what we provide with Java Cloud Service. Simple click, and in a few minutes you have a complete Java development environment. It's complete self-service. You can give control to your developers to create and destroy environments as they like. The second thing about standards and about using the same tools and frameworks that are available today and that your developers are using today to do development in other environments, we want to use that in Java Cloud Service. So there is no new development tools to learn, no new language, no new skill set to acquire. You get productivity from day one with Java Cloud Service and with other public cloud services from Oracle. And security. The key thing about security is, one is at the data layer, we isolate your data. There is no commingling of data between tenants. And at the application layer, the Java Cloud Service, you get your complete isolated instances for yourself. Every tenant service is isolated by itself, so there is no commingling of applications. So at both the layers, you have complete isolation. That's where the security comes in. It's built on the industry's #1 application server. That's WebLogic, Oracle WebLogic server. That's what it's using underneath. And it's deployed on the best and the most optimal engineered system available for Java Cloud Service, and that's Exalogic. And the database, as you probably know, Database Cloud Service works on Exadata, which is the best engineered system for database. And they work together in conjunction to give you the best combination of the middle tier and the data tier. Highly secure, we talked about it. It is enterprise grade and open standards based. We give you out of the box configuration with all the services along with IDEs so that you can start using them right away with your cloud services. The best of all, it is completely managed and operated by Oracle. Once you have the service and you start paying the subscription price, everything is included in that one subscription monthly price that you pay. Support for your infrastructure, support for your middle tier, your database, making sure that your environment is highly available and up and running, make regular backups and restores when you need them. All of that is done by Oracle and supported 24/7 for you. Java Cloud Service, there are 3 different tiers or price tiers or sizes that are available out of the box. That doesn't mean you can have more, we can, but these are the 3 ones that are right. You can just click and get them. The S1 is a 1-node server, S2 is 2, and S4 is a 4-node server for managed WebLogic nodes. You can buy which one you want. You can start with S1. If that's not enough, you can in-place upgrade to S2 and in-place upgrade to S4 without any downtime. You can today, if you go to cloud.oracle.com, and you can start a trial, a free 30-day trial of a Java Cloud Service, which includes the Database Cloud Service, out of the box integrated for you. You can try it out for 30 days. And you can start that from cloud.oracle.com. A little later, I will show you how you can get started with your trial. Java Cloud Service is very easy, as I said, the self-service and instant access. The way you start is you just go to cloud.oracle.com and you say try it. Or if you want to buy it, there's a buy now button. You click on it and you give your information, the tenant information, your name, your email address, very basic information. You'll see that it's just few fields you have to fill up. Give that information, and what we will do is behind the scene a provision and environment that you just requested. As soon as that is provisioned and we have wired it up with all the services that you bought together, will notify you that your environment is now available for you to use, and only thing you have to do is come and activate it, so that now we know exactly that you started using that environment. And as soon as you activate it, it's a little button that comes in that email notification, orange button, click on it and it'll activate. And as soon as you activate, we hook the environment with our operations console, where our support people start monitoring this environment 24/7 and proactively work on this environment if they find something wrong with it. For example, if a particular VM is not healthy, they will get an alert and they will fail over that VM to another compute node. So all of that starts happening as soon as you activate the service or the environment that you just bought. And then once you do it, you just start using it. And Java Cloud Service, as I said, you start using it with the existing tools that you use today. Nothing new to learn. There are a few consoles that give you information matrix about your service, and I'll show you that. But other than that, development is through the same IDEs and same tools that you use for any Java EE environment. The application development lifecycle is the same. You start with any IDE, you make changes, you check out your code from some source repository. It could be your own or it could be developer service, and I'll be talking about that in a bit. You can check out the code in your IDE environment, make changes, and then you can deploy it right out of that IDE environment to Java Cloud Service, and we'll see that in action. Once it's deployed, you can test it. You have a couple of ways to monitor this environment. One is we give you a full-fledged console for monitoring, or you have command line access to our environment to monitor it. So you can script these things into your environment. Once, of course, it's deployed, you can access the applications through web, through mobile, through any channels that you want your applications to be accessed. The key thing about Java Cloud Service and other services within the Oracle Public Cloud is the integration that it comes out of the box with. So, for example, with Database Cloud Service, once you buy a Java Cloud Service and in the same environment you buy a Database Cloud Service within the same tenancy, we will let you associate them, which means we will let you say this Java Cloud Service and this Database Cloud Service are part of one application space. And as soon as you do that, we will automatically configure all the data sources and tune them up for your applications. So out of the box, you have that. You don't have to worry about these configurations. It's very simple to get both these environments, a simple click of button. With the Database Cloud Service, you can import and export data very quickly through their data pump features. The association can be done in one of the two ways. One is either every Java Cloud Service may have its own database service and it's associated with 1:1, or you could have multiple Java Cloud Service talk to the same database. So if you have a shared schema that multiple application needs and all these applications are running on a different Java Cloud Service, they can all point to the same database cloud service. And you can do that in paid. In trial, we give you a Java Cloud Service and a Database Cloud Service already pre-configured, and you just go off and start using it. But in paid, you have these options of configuring the way you want. Capabilities, let's talk about what exactly is available in Java Cloud Service. It's standard Java EE container. It's WebLogic running underneath the Java Cloud Service. And you have the same technologies that are available in a standard Java EE container available in Java Cloud Service, because it is an app container, a Java EE app container in the cloud. So you can build your standard web applications, you can build your standard web services, you can build your standard REST services, your database applications with persistence technologies like JPA, as well as, because it's running WebLogic and because it's an Oracle stack, we also support ADF, Oracle's application development framework, out of the box. So you can build web applications and mobile applications using the ADF technology, and it's already enabled for you in the Java Cloud Service. So you don't have to worry about it. As soon as the environment is available, you can start building these applications. Is a little bit deep down on the technologies that are available in Java Cloud Service. As you can see, they are the standard ones that Java EE spec talk about: EJBs, JSF, JSPs, web services and REST services. It also supports persistence API. And of course, you can, by default, it's the Eclipse link, but you can use your own persistence implementation if you want. You can package it with your application, it'll work. We will manage your JDBC data sources as part of configurations, let you know the configurations through the console, what we have configured for you, but your data source configurations are all managed by Oracle. They're all done by it through a simple provisioning process. You don't have to worry about any of the things, any of the configurations for the database. One thing to note about Java Cloud Service, because it is running in the cloud, what happens is that there is no EJB access from outside of the Oracle public cloud into a Java Cloud Service running in the Oracle public cloud. The only protocols that are allowed between the external world, the internet, and the Oracle public cloud are either HTTP or HTTPS based. That's what is allowed. RMI and any other protocols are not supported from outside to inside. Though they are within the service, we have enabled RMI and other protocols to communicate, but not from outside to the inside. That's because it's in the cloud. Apart from the standard JE, of course, ADF is available, ADF Faces, ADF Business Components, and ADF Data Controls. Now, ADF technology is very important for one specific use case that I'll talk a little bit later about, and that's SaaS application extensions. So as I talked about earlier, we have HCM and CRM and other SaaS applications available in public cloud. A lot of our customers want to extend the out-of-the-box functionality that is available in SaaS. And they either build it themselves or they have a partner build them, and they use ADF technology for those kind of extension. From the developer's perspective, the key thing is that one, we support all the third-party libraries. You can deploy any of them in Java Cloud Service. There are a few APIs that we blacklist in the cloud, especially the ones that may impact the continuous running of your environment. So for example, system.exit, we don't allow that to be executed in cloud because that will crash your JVM where the app container is running. So there are certain APIs that are blacklisted, and as long as your library is not using that, you can deploy that library in Java Cloud Service. We don't have any restrictions as such. IDE integrations are available out of the box. What we have done is we have taken the most popular IDEs that like Eclipse, NetBeans, and our own Oracle JDeveloper, and made them Oracle Cloud aware. So you can directly deploy your applications out of those IDEs. The plugins are available if you download the latest version of them. If you have a previous version, you can just get the plugin and deploy them, and then these IDEs are Oracle Cloud aware. We provide you command line access for monitoring management of your Java Cloud Service, and we also give you Maven and Ant so that you can integrate with your own build infrastructure. If you want to directly deploy applications right out of your Maven project, you can do that. There are tasks for that. Same for Ant. And as I said, any third-party applications or frameworks can be deployed with your Java Cloud applications on the Java Cloud Service. We have an SDK that most these IDEs use. The IDEs talk to the SDK, and SDK knows how to talk to the cloud. So we can abstract the IDEs out, and the plugins use that. So you have to download this SDK from cloud.oracle.com and give it to the IDE plugin. And once that's set up, IDEs can talk to the cloud. Not just deploy applications, but it can pull logs, so you can do troubleshooting. It can give you statistics and metrics from the runtime environment right into the IDE, so you don't have to leave the IDE environment. Service integrations, these are critical for extension applications. For database, of course, this integration is via JDBC and we manage it. For SaaS and other extensions, the right way to do it would be to use either web services or REST services, and that's what is supported in Java Cloud Service. The typical SaaS extension that we see is where we have UI on the Java Cloud Service that is pulling data out of a SaaS application, either CRM or an HCM, and displaying it into its own web console. For example, a marketing page might pull in customer information, or a sales extension page might pull in opportunity information from the CRM system and display it on the web app that is running right off of Java Cloud Service. And what we've done is made it super simple for you to deploy these applications that are associated with a particular instance of CRM or HCM environment or application. And we do all the underlying configuration for you. So as soon as your app is deployed, you don't have to worry about security, users, and roles, and synchronization of those things, and all of that is taken care of for you. Just concentrate on building your business logic and deploy the applications on Java Cloud Service, and you're done. The other use case we typically see is where the UI and the user is interacting with the SaaS web application, the SaaS UI, and somewhere it triggers, they do something on that. Say, for example, you are on a sales portal and you trigger something that goes out to pull quotes from an quote application that is outside of the CRM system, and that would take the user off of the CRM page onto a different page, and that page could be sourced from a Java Cloud Service. So that's also a typical integration use case for Java Cloud Service. It is built on the CAF, or the Cloud Application Foundation from Oracle, that many of you might be aware of. So every component that we use within our Java Cloud Service is enterprise grade, well mature, has been out there in the market for a long time, and we have thousands of customers using that on premise. So though the Java Cloud Service may be new, but every component that we have used in the architecture is hardened. It's enterprise grade, and it's working on the best possible hardware infrastructure that is available for these components to run, and that's our ExaStack. Simply to talk about how the architecture works is each node of your Java Cloud Service we deploy it in is a VM instance of its own. So you have isolation at the node level, and it's deployed on a different compute node, so that you are protected. It's highly available. You're protected against any compute nor hardware failure, and that's how we provide you high availability. And of course that are connected to our highly redundant ZFS store for where the binaries and the domain home and the customer data is. All of that is configured. All of these services are configured through to the Exadata through Active Grid Link configuration, so you have the best configuration between the two on the best hardware infrastructure possible. Quickly, I will walk you through the portals that you will use when you interact with Oracle Public Cloud. Obviously, you don't have to use them. They are just for convenience. A lot of that is available through command line, and in most cases, the information that is out there, you can just get it through command line or other means. But they are your starting points as you get familiar with OPC. These are the portals you will use, and eventually you can do advanced stuff without having to use these portals. There are primarily 4 of them. One is My Accounts, and it is meant for a buyer who is buying services from Oracle. The second one is My Services, targeted for service administrators, typically an IT person who is whose job is to make sure that check the daily health of this environment, this services, to make sure they're up and running, their usage is at a certain level, and if there is need to upscale or downscale them. That's what the service owners portal, they would do it on that service owners portal, which is called My Services. We have another role called Identity Administrators, and they have a special console for managing users and roles for your environment. And lastly, each service has a detailed portal for themselves. Like for Java Cloud Service, there is a Java Cloud Service console. For database, there is a database administration console, and for other service likewise. And that's where you do very specific things on a particular service instance of that type, and you will see that in action soon. So My Accounts, buyer's portal, the buyer can view services that they have bought across all the data centers, view the statistics, view what's happening, what's the usage of these services, and need be they can upsize the services right out of this portal. they can add other administrators and make them give them the privilege to buy services from Oracle. Typically, somebody who is related to procurement of services from a third party or a vendor like Oracle. When it comes to managing the service, the IT people generally are managing the day-to-day health of that service, and they come to My Services. My Service Console is data center specific, so all your services within one data service is visible in that console, and you can see the same statistics, pretty much like the account administrators, but then you can drill down into these statistics and also manage the service in terms of whether they are up or down. I mean, you can suspend a service like a Java Cloud service, so that nobody can access that service while you're doing some maintenance. So that's what a service administrator would do. Also, Oracle would send notification to service administrators regarding downtimes, maintenance windows. If we are doing some maintenance, we'll let in advance the service administrators know through this portal and through different notification mechanism. Java Cloud Service Console is specifically for Java Cloud Service and for a specific instance of Java Cloud Service. And what you can do in there is deploy apps, undeploy apps, check the usage of that particular instance, different nodes, health of that information in that service, logs, applications. We'll see all of that. Very specific console for an instance of a Java Cloud Service. Identity Console allows users and the identity administrators to manage users, add users, remove them, give them a particular role that eventually the applications would use to give entitlements. The last concept I want to talk about Java Cloud Service and in general OPC is the identity domains. It is a concept where we give you a slice of an identity infrastructure for your applications. You can have one or more identity domains within the tenancy, and it is where you create your users and roles that eventually your applications will use for allowing end users to access your applications. You can have as many as identity domains you want, but you associate each environment with an identity domain. Java Cloud Service will be associated with no more than one identity domain, and that is the security store or identity store where all the users for that Java Cloud Service are. And you can create one or more, so you can have all your services pointing to the same identity domain, or you can have each service point to its own identity domain, depend on how your organization is organized in terms of your LDAP directory within your organization. And what really happens is when you log into Java Cloud Service or any of our services, you give the username, password, and you give the ident domain. That together makes it a unique user within the Oracle Public Cloud. You can share identities, as I said. You can have 1:1 or many services point to the same ident domain. The advantage of many services pointing to the same ident domain is that you get out of the box single sign-on between applications on all these services. To summarize, Java Cloud Service can be accessed from IDEs. It goes over REST. Applications built on Java Cloud Service can be accessed from browsers, from mobile devices. Maven and CLIs access Java Cloud Service through REST, and of course the database cloud service access the Java Cloud Service through the JDBC, and that's internal within OPC. The key differentiation, it's flexible deployment. You can deploy your application is based on standard, so you can take the same application, deploy on premise, or you can put it in Java Cloud Service. You have the flexibility. It uses standard programming model, no new tools to use, no new frameworks to use. And you get out of the box persistence database, the best database that's out there on the best engineered environment that it's running. It is also built ground up for SaaS extensions for those kind of use cases, and makes it super simple to build extension for SaaS applications. You get a full identity stack out of the box with the same subscription price, and you can manage your users in the cloud. And IDEs are pre-configured to work with Oracle Cloud as if it's a native server that it's working with. That brings us to the end of the introduction for Java Cloud Service and Oracle Public Cloud. In the next session, we will look at how to get started with Java Cloud Service and actually look at all these consoles and the portals that I talked about. In this session, I'm going to show you a demo of how you can get started with Java Cloud Service, how you can request a trial You can buy services from our portal and the various cloud portals that you need to interact with when you use the services on Oracle Public Cloud. So the first point is that anything that you want to do for public cloud, the only single stop for anything in public cloud is cloud.oracle.com. That's the homepage, and that's how it looks like. And you can get information about all the cloud services that are available today, that are coming, that are in the beta or in preview, and the things that are coming in future. As you can see, we have different sections here to cover the application space, to cover the social space, and of course to cover the platform space. And that there is the database cloud service, Java cloud service, because those are the services that are available today for you to try and buy and actually put your production applications on it. And we also have a bunch of preview services that we'll talk about a little, that give you a complete development environment. Let's go and look at Java Cloud Service because that's of interest for now. For Java Cloud Service, right here you have try it. You can chat with us and let us know about things that you have questions. But on this page you have 3 little tabs. The overview gives you all the information that pretty much I just talked about in the first session. What's the advantage of Java Cloud Service? What exactly is Java Cloud Service? What's the data sheet? What are the components? You can also see tutorials and videos here, so you can see in-depth how-tos around certain topics. And we also have videos talking about how to get started and do various things with Java Cloud Service. So please feel free and explore these. Features talk about, the tab talks about detailed features in particular area. And you can get that information either here or from the data sheet. And finally is the pricing. The Java Cloud Service there are 3 price tiers, though we can create services that are larger than this, but the standard 3 tiers are the 1 node server, the 2 and the 4. 1 and 2 typically we see them used during development and testing, sometimes staging, and the 4 nodes are typically the production environment because that gives you the highest amount of availability for your production applications. Right here you can do try it. That tells you what exactly you are getting, and it's a 30-day trial for Java Cloud Service, and along with that you get a database cloud service, and everything is configured for you out of the box. So you quickly start trial, and obviously to get a trial you have to be a user on oracle.com. Everybody, if you don't, you just create an account, and if you do have, then you can use your existing OTN or Oracle account. In my case it's anand.kothari at oracle.com, and I will log in, and once I log in it has my information pretty much, so I don't have to put that, and it's just name and address, nothing more than that. We do ask for credit card only for validation. There is no other reason why we are credit card. We want to validate the person, make sure that the person is the person who is asking for the service. That information is not stored anywhere, and we will never charge you for a trial. In my case the information was already entered, so it found it, no validation needed. At the last page is where the most important page about the services. It tells you which region you want to have your trial, North America. So we'll create this trial in the North American region. We will start trials in other regions, but right now the trials are in the North America. The production environment, paid services, you have a choice. You can get it in North America or EMEA or the APEC data centers that are coming out soon. But you have a choice with paid services with trials. This is the current choice is North America, and we'll add more choices later. Identity domain, I explained. Every service has to be part of an identity domain. Either for a trial you can pick a new identity domain, or you can actually create a trial in the existing identity domain. The value of doing all your services in one identity domain is, one, you have to manage your users and roles in one, just once. You don't have to replicate them and all that. The other thing is all the applications deployed on all these services get single sign-on out of the box. You don't have to do any configuration. It's the same user, same directory, slice in our IDM. for all your apps. So out of the box single sign-on works. So that's the value. In this case, let's keep new. What you do is also give the administrator the name. So this is the person, the service administrator, who is going to manage the service on a day-to-day basis. Since it's trial and since it's for me, I'll just keep it as is. I give my email. So a user for this email and this username will be created. A one-time password will be sent if the user is not already in the system. If it is in the domain, then the user is not just a notification goes to the user saying that you are the administrator, but he doesn't get a new password because he can use your existing password. If the user is new, a new user gets automatically created and a temporary one-time password is sent to the user. That's what I'll do. I'll say next, and I just have to accept the terms and conditions for the trial, go through the terms and conditions, and talks about exactly what you're getting for the trial, and then you submit the trial. And the last page shows you the summary of what you're getting. That's your identity domain. The trial was requested on 21st August. That's your order ID. Email has been sent to this person because he's the administrator. And here are the next steps. Check your email. When the service is provisioned, you get an email. You just have to click an activate button. That will activate the service within few minutes. You will have a full environment available for you to start developing. So if you now go, either you can go through the email or you can go through My Accounts. I clicked on that and that took me to the My Accounts page. My Accounts portal is for a buyer to see all the services that the buyer has bought. It is typically for somebody who does all the procurement for the company in terms of services they buy from Oracle. May or may not be an IT person. And he or she will see all the services that they have bought. Now in my case, because I do a lot of demos and a lot of hands-on labs, I have tons of services that I have created. Let's go to one of the services that I currently have active. Most of them, once they are used, I purge them. But the active service is right there, and actually I can even filter them based on active. And all the services that are active or they have just started being terminated are here. I can go to a details Java Cloud Service page, and here it gives me all the information about this trial. This was created a little while back. We just sent a request for a new one, and that is under the trial request, but we are now looking for one that was created a little while back, just to keep with the demo quickly. Here is a service. It gives you all the information when it was created. It also gives you SFTP location and the username. Now, this is used in case of service when the services are terminated for Java Cloud Service. So, once you terminate a service with us, we will put all your applications in the logs because they belong to you in this SFTP location, and you can go and access it after your service is terminated for 60 days. This is termination use case for Java Cloud Service. Now for Database Cloud Service, SFTP is also a mechanism to transport data in and out of the Database Cloud Service. Identity domains also have their own SFTP account where all the user information gets pushed out when a service is terminated. Database trial is what is associated with this service, and the name of that database trial is database. That's the base standard name for trials. You can see utilization, CPU, application, memory used, etc. For the last week. You can see the status or overall status of the service, availability, how much the service has been up during that time. So this service was created about 6-7 days back, and it shows that for those last 7 days it's been 100% available. Administrators can add others as an administrator, and typically that's what you want to do. You should have at least 2 administrators in case one is not available or plans to quit. You have somebody else who can still go and administer your environment and your services. So you typically want to add one. By default is the one who is the buyer and or the current person who logged in into this account, but you can add others, and when they log in into their account, they will see the services for whom they have been made account administrators. Resources are just bunch of links to quick links to get quick information about the service. Status history gives you in-depth status, daily, weekly and monthly view of all the different services that are in this account that are active. The ones that are terminated don't show up here, but the ones that are active are all here. And about just tells you what version we are, what version of the service this is. So that's my account, the buyer's portal. Now once as you saw in the request page, the trial request page, at the end of the page we gave somebody else an administrative access to the service for the day-to-day health, to check the day-to-day health of the service, and that person is called the service administrator. Their portal is my services, and my services are data center specific. When a person logs in, they have to pick the data center which they want to see all the services in, and in this case it's Austin. I'm going to log in, and as you remember, I was the person who was the service administrator of that service, so I am going to log in here, and I have to give the right identity domain. Remember, the identity domain was ARNC that we saw before. This was the service that was provisioned a few days back. So the unique values that you have to provide is your username, your password, and your identity domain that identifies the user for a particular tenant. You log in, and now you see my services. Now this looks very similar to my accounts. The difference is, one, it's data center specific. Second, it has a few more functions that a service administrator needs to do over and above what an account administrator would do, and I'll walk you through those few differences. So as you've seen, there are only 2 services here because this user has been only authorized to manage these 2 services and not anything else. There were 600 other services in my accounts, but he is not the manager of all of them. So the only ones that I'm manager, I show up here. These are the 2. I can go into details of a service, and it looks very similar to what we saw before in my accounts. In utilization also you will see similar utilization matrix. Now the main thing that a service administrator can do over and above the account administrator, they can lock the service. Which means if your applications are going under maintenance and you want nobody to access the service, none of your end users to access the service, you can lock it. No new request gets routed to the service, and you can do maintenance on it and then come and unlock the service here. The next thing, the next difference on this portal is the notification. Probably if you notice, there was no notification on my accounts. These notifications are for account administrators to know what Oracle plans to do with the service. For example, there are SLAs that we have published around maintenance, and if we have your service scheduled for a maintenance in that SLA window, we will notify you in advance, and you will know about these downtimes in advance, and this is where you'll come to know. Status history is pretty similar to my accounts. Once you have been through this and looked at the service in general, the next logical step would be to look at that particular instance. What is happening with this particular Java Cloud Service instance, what apps are deployed, etc. So for that, you would go into the service console. If I click, it punches out into a Java Cloud Service console. And this is a simple dashboard that we have created for Java Cloud Service. There is a similar dashboard for the database cloud service. On this, Java app administrator can see the availability of this service. This service happens to be a 1 node, so there is only one resource information for M0, which is the first node. If there are multiple nodes, you would see different lines here for M0, M1, M2, M3, like that. Same with response and load. You would see it per node, an aggregate value, as well as you would see per node. The service also shows you what if there are open JDBC connections, any active sessions going on, all the applications that are deployed currently in the service. By default, a welcome app is deployed when you get a service provision. You can obviously select it and delete it if you don't want it, but this is there just to get. It's like a hello world, just there for you to quickly look at and make sure your service is up and running. Lastly, it has these job logs where every command, administrative command that you give, say for deploying an application or undeploying or delete, these are administrative commands, and for each of those commands we create a job log. These commands are asynchronous. Once you fire, there is a job that in the back end is running to execute that command, and then we will let you know what the status of that job is. And if you're using CLI, you can fire a CLI to get the status of a particular job. Each job has a unique ID in the entire Oracle public cloud, so you can uniquely identify your job and has a job status. In this case, what I did is I deleted this app a little while back, which means I undeployed it, and that was the job. And for that particular job, there are multiple logs that can be created depending on how many steps that administrative command has. So like, say for example, deploy an application. This particular command has 3 steps. One is check virus scan. We make sure that the app does not have any virus. The second is to make sure we are not using APIs that are restricted in Java Cloud Service. So we do a whitelist validation, let you know, give you warnings as well as errors for the APIs that you're using, and deploy application, the actual deployment that is happening to the WebLogic server. So you can pick and see the value of each of the content of each of the logs steps. The runtime logs that are generated by the application you will see under view log messages, and here you can see for last certain amount of time, interval, hours, minutes. You can give the level of the error as well as criteria to search, and then you can click on search and it will give you the logs. We don't have much logs here, but as we do more in this session, the logs will be created. But this is the runtime logs that are created by the application. Go back to the main console, and you can now drill into a particular app and see the content of that app. What's the URL of the app for testing? What is the load of that app? What are the various sessions that are happening in that app, and what's the availability of that app itself? So I can just quickly test this app by opening this, and this is a simple hello world, shows that the application is deployed and running. Here is the URL. Typically Java Cloud Service applications have this URL pattern where it's the service name, which is Java hyphen the identity domain .java.us1.oraclecloudapps.com. Now US1 is the data center in US, so Austin is US1, Chicago is US2, and EMEA would be EM1, and so forth. So every data center, because the app is pinned to that data center, will have this unique URL, and this is how the pattern for applications that are deployed in Java Cloud Services. So that's the end of the session. We've seen in this session how you can get a trial. You can also get a paid service right out of cloud.oracle.com. You can get a lot of material around learning things around Java Cloud Service from cloud.oracle.com. We saw all the necessary portals that you will interact with, and at the end we also saw the main dashboard for Java Cloud Service where you manage your applications. Your service administrator manages the application. This is what you need to get started with Java Cloud Service. That brings us to the end of getting started with Java Cloud Service.